Okay, so hello LinkedIn family. This is Sarang from Inovact, and welcome to this special event with seven amazing founders. It had to be 10, but there two of them kind of cancelled out due to personal reasons. So we are eight amazing founders. We are going to be talking about a lot of interesting stuff. So, we are going to have a lot of interesting discussions. So wait until the stream finishes. Stay with us until the end. So let's start with our introduction. So probably I'll go first. As all of you know, I am Sarang and I'm building Inovact. So the problem statement we're trying to solve is something like this: students and entrepreneurs have projects and ideas, but those are only dreams until they get into a reality. So for them to get into a reality, they need a dream team, and for them to find the right team at the right time, it's a tedious process. So on our application, which is Innovact Social, we make collaboration simple, structured, and faster. uh, that being said, users can look for a team in just two steps and join a team with just a click of a button. And that's how seamless we've made the entire collaboration process. And all of these things happen with happen with a layer of proof of work. So this is about me. We are in the MVP stage with close to 1,000 users, 1,100 users now, and we're trying to scale. We're trying to build our beta version, and we're trying to launch it in a couple of weeks. So that's it from my side. We can probably go with Akshay next.
Yeah, hi. So this is Akshay, co-founder at DocTrue. DocTrue is India's first real-time virtual queue management system for clinics and hospitals. So we are aiming to reduce the waiting time of a patient in an OPD from more than 45 minutes on an average to less than 10 minutes. So that being said, we've been live in the clinics in Bangalore and two Ayurvedic clinics in Bangalore. We have around 500 plus users weekly, and we have 30 plus paying customers. So we're just testing out our early stage traction also. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Mithul, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, Mithil this side. I have been running my e-commerce stores from like past 5 years. I run a marketing agency, and currently I'm working on a customer intelligence platform which is going to be powered by AI, and it's going to provide deep, actionable insights on the customers and जितने भी डिजिटल उसमें आपके यूजर्स रहते हैं to prevent fraud and fake feedback over the e-commerce domain. And apart from that, I have been running a couple of projects in crypto and NFT space. So one of the projects I marketed on has over 2,000 Ethereum of volume over the OpenSea, and I was assigned a budget of like 8,50,000, and I gave them an ROI of like 4 over their all marketing requirements. So yeah, and I also have another stealth project working on the background in the crypto space, and we are going to be raising our funding round soon. So yeah, that's it for me.
Perfect. Adarsh, would you mind going next?
Yeah, hi everyone. So nice to be here. Thanks, Sarang, again for putting together this awesome panel discussion on a Sunday evening. I'm Adarsh from Mysore and run a digital marketing company with a team of around 35 people. And well, we run it right. If I have to say what's the differentiator, because that's the most difficult thing in a digital marketing company. All our team, every role is in-house. We don't outsource stuff, so it makes it easier for us to be accountable and available round the clock. Also run another startup called Desi Adda, which is into corporate gifting solutions built by local artisans. Working with various artisans across Mysore, Channapatna, Jaipur, and other places. So this is about me.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. Chandrakant, let's go with you.
Yeah, hi everyone. So Sarang over here, currently building Fino Club, and Fino Club is basically a community for traders and investors who kind of come in together and make a Fino aims to make a level ground for all types of traders, from retailers to people who have maybe HNIs and who are experienced in the trading from a particular domain. So kind of work as an aggregator for getting the right people in, experienced traders in, and also getting the people who want those services and are looking to invest, trade, might be ranging from even 5K to 10K to 20K, whatever it might be, and even going across 20 CR to 30 CR. So when there's a lot of people who come from different backgrounds and different knowledge and information, specifically in terms of finance. So there's a lot of bridging which is required. That is what we do here, and trying to figure out the market fit as of now. And yeah, we are growing decent right now.
Perfect. Vivek, can we go with you?
Yep. Hi guys, Vivek this side, and thank you Sarang for inviting me. I'm a bit different than the people around here. I've recently completed my masters, and I've been in this startup domain since 7 years now. I've been working with a lot of them. A lot of them are early stage startups, helping them unlock their potential. I create content, and other than my professional interests, I am interested in sport analysis as well. So I do a lot of sport analysis. I'm building blog and a platform for sport analysis recently, and that is yet to achieve the PMF right now. It's in very early stage right now. Uh, I love exploring the intricacies of sporting events in India and the growth of sport in India. So that's what I do, and I'm eager to connect with a lot of people and eager to talk here today.
All right. So Aishak.
Yeah, thank you, Sarang. Thank you so much for inviting. Like, happy to have sharing a screen with a lot of amazing founders out here. Yeah, so I am Vaishak, the founder of Creto. So I'm building a platform that basically helps startups to hire freelancers and interns in tech and other related domain. So what makes us better than other platform is, the type of the domain we are focusing in is obviously completed by Fiverr, Upwork, and all. So we are trying to provide more dedicated support, which other platforms at this point are not able to give. A support system where the project is taken care of right from the start to end. Make sure there's someone to help you with the coordination with the freelancer, payment gateways, all that things. And we also are working with various colleges and across the countries like IITs and all. So we have a community of more than 100 plus startups and 200 plus freelancers, and includes wide variety of domains from edtech to space travel and all. So that's about Creto. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Himanshu, last but
Yeah,
not the
hi.
least.
Yeah, hi, Sarang. I think it's glad to be meeting both of you all of you. Most of you have been a name on various WhatsApp groups for me. So finally glad to see you now. Recently, so I have a background in psychology, and I've been into startup ecosystem for about 8 years now. I did my first startup back in high school, back when I did not even know there is a word called a startup. And over the years, I have been involved with various ed techs and fintechs primarily. Recently, I was a part of an AI startup where we ideated around how to make investments easier for retail investors. So we developed certain AI models that could help you give better analysis on how to trade. I'm more of a core business and marketing guy. I sometimes feel really handicapped when I have to look for somebody who can build the tech for me. uh, but yeah, now recently now I am heading marketing for a multi-million dollar fintech firm now. It's been about a month I'm with them. But yeah, in terms of my aspiration for building things, I'm working in it's a stealth project, but we are working working in the mental health space, and we're primarily trying to solve preemptive mental health issues detection. What it means is we want to detect you getting depressed before you are clinically depressed. Like, we want to help you identify the signs that okay, you are heading towards something that could potentially lead you to with some sort of mental issue. So that's a big problem statement. Have been working on that. Technically handicapped, so trying to learn whatever I could, trying to build my own MVP, and always looking for a CTO. So if you guys have a lead, please share. Thank you.
Perfect. So, Himanshu, if you need a team for your startup, you know where to look at. We have the best place in the world to look for a team, and you don't have to pay.
Where? Can you give a plugin? Where is it? Where do I have to look?
So yeah, so I think let's go ahead with the questions. And there's the reason I wanted to have this LinkedIn live with you guys is because all of us here we come from different sets of experience and we come from different domains. So this kind of makes the whole LinkedIn live more interesting, right? So it's more interesting to hear about what is happening in different spaces. So just to sum up, Akshay comes from a healthcare background, I come from a consumer product, Mitul comes from Web3, crypto, Adarsh comes from a digital marketing agency, Chandrakant, again, he runs a fintech startup, Vivek has great experience in the startup ecosystem, and Vaishak comes from a freelancing platform, again, a consumer product, consumer tech product. And of course, Himanshu has great experience in marketing, and I mean, I would say is a marketing genius, right? So uh, my first question to you guys would be, how do you see the future of work? So I'll just give you a context before we get answers. So basically now people hire either through certifications, either through a proper college background, or either through a resume. But what we have also identified is certificates and resumes are not tangible in nature. I can fake a certificate any day I want, right? I can just pay somebody and get certificates, or I can just scroll through a video, get a certificate for free. That does not tell me that I'm skilled in that particular domain. So proof of work is very nascent, to be very honest, and it is something which is tangible, right? So again, coming back to the question, with the advancement of artificial intelligence, how do you think the future of work is going to look like, and how do you think recruitment is going to look like? So anyone who wants to start first can please unmute yourself and start speaking about this. We
I'll go ahead, man.
Before you start, very sorry
Sure.
to stop. We will have to hard stop this question at the next 15 minutes. So we'll try to keep this discussion very short and to the point.
Done, done, done. So I have been into this space for a while now, and specifically with Girl, I think Sarang knows a little bit about it. So completely a freelancing platform, and what I think Reto is doing, kind of that model, and also it had still has, so it's still running, just not by me. So it had the parts of proof of work, and which was completely built on smart contracts and stuff like that. So again, just adding a layer of security to it, so that even proof of work is not replicated and by other people. So that was what we were doing. And and as I've hired, I think a decent number of people and have taken X amount of interviews, I have understood few things in this. One is even proof of work could be fabricated. So 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 I don't believe in getting assessments done and stuff like that, giving an assignment, and that's very easy to fabricate. So maybe it getting intertwined with new technology. I don't have much idea about how AI could help in that, but yeah, specifically blockchain could help a lot in that. If you can intervene, that's what Girl was trying to do. I think that's a great way. And specifically for hiring, I think referrals is a great space to be in. There are people who are building in this, and I knew some of the like big startups who have been funded and recently and doing great. And I think hiring by referral could be the game changer going ahead. And specifically how it is, right? You have a basically agenda of what this person is, you have key points to that person, and just by looking at the person's small profile of like 5-10 points, okay, referred by XYZ. So that adds a stamp to it. So basically vetting is done by the person rather than any AI model or anyone coming in. And in the end, being human beings, being a community first, taking always leading with the community first approach, I think that is where the whole play will be. So that's it from my side.
I'll take this forward. There's a thing called, you said the proof of work can be fabricated. That's perfectly true. So I'll take an example. The Tatas, the flag bearers of India, right? So what they do, what they're doing currently, even you go to any B school, you go to any engineering campus, what they're doing, they're not hiring based on not only based on the assessment of coding questions, etc. They take an IQ test as well. They leverage AI, ML, etc. They create an algorithm where they'll test the IQ of the person who they are hiring. So things are changing in a way that they're not just hiring by seeing, okay, you did this project, so we'll hire you. It's not like that anymore. Things have been changing a lot, and apart from that, a lot of startups as well are coming in this space. You guys, particularly many of you, have built freelancing platforms, etc. The freelancing community is going to increase. At this moment, the moonlighting, etc., comes into the picture. But going forward in the next 4 to 5 years, I think a lot of freelancing is going to happen, and companies will be okay to accept that, and that shift is going to be huge for India, I think.
Yeah, just add on this thing. Yeah, exactly as you mentioned, Vivek, freelancing is booming. Like that's a point because There's, like the way the world works and the people, the new generation, example, the Gen Z, that's kind of, especially in the age group of 18 to 27, the way people prefer to work is actually changing, and it's more in a, very astronomical pace. That's the things are getting changes, especially after the COVID. People are preferring moreover to work from home, or moreover like work from anywhere. Culture is also booming. So the way the people used to work is obviously changing. It's people are switching moreover to the comfort zone rather than going to a daily office and working things from there. And again, adding to the point, as Chandrakant said, the referral system, like obviously the humans have the tendency to believe in one human rather than moreover getting convinced by technology, unless and until AI is taking things over. But the referral system is still, very crucial factor, because Creto has done more than helped more than 20 plus startups till now to hire. And every time they ask us this question, do you know this guy before, like have you worked with him, like have anyone worked with him before? So that's just the point they ask. And the main thing they come to Creto is also the point that they have been to Fiverr, Upwork, or freelancer.com. And the point they faced there was, not getting proper assurity of the person. The person may be well skilled, well versed in skill set they have, but they think sometimes, will the person be able to do this? I don't know him. It's me, a person on the other side of the screen. I haven't seen him, haven't spoken to him yet. How can I trust him? It's a blind shot that they're giving up. So obviously trust factor is something that's really the game changer, irrespective of everything. I think technology can be a layer that can be added to that point to make it more secure, but a human intervention is obviously required rather than just going completely technological. And that's where Creto comes in, and we are trying to add a human layer of interaction to make sure the quality, the assurity part is more, because trust is something that people require more. And since startups are someone who are running very low on budget with very thin margins and things like that, so trust factor will be a game changer in this domain.
And also, to add to that is because as you were talking about trust, I feel like the culture, right? That is more very important. Like you have to mingle and find the person who's actually aligning with your culture. Because at least for early stage startups, right? You can't just go blindly find anybody and just start like hiring them.
Yeah, exactly. Culture plays a big role, especially with startups, because in conventional hiring, it's like things are very much structured. You go to a corporate or any company, you have a manager, you have a boss to report, and anyone plus plus layers ahead. But in startup, it's like you are just sitting with the CEO. Every day is a fresh day, a fresh challenge coming up. You have the audacity to take things up to the level you expect. So I think a mindset will be a very crucial role that plays in. And like if anyone can crack the code of how exactly to figure out what's the thinking process that a person does before joining any organization, like if AI or any kind of technology we can come into that, I think it is a very different level of disruption that's going to be happen.
And a lot of jobs have been opened recently, like for especially hiring for the founders office in startups, which were not
Yeah.
there a couple of years ago. So the trend is changing completely. The startups are leveraging AI and ML, and they are changing the trend in how they are hiring the millennials and Gen Z people.
But I feel that over with what Sarang asked with AI and all that, I feel uh, the process or anything is going to become efficient. I'm not telling it's going to replace human beings. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't think like automation is not going to happen anytime soon around the world. I feel next 2 years, it's going to be only about efficiency. Right now, even the way we are using ChatGPT or anything is just to make it more efficient enough to make our work lives more simpler. So that's going to be there for like maybe 2 to 3 years going ahead. So
No,
I think
I
there
think
are.
to add to the all of your points, you've heard this author, right? I mean, famous management guru Peter Drucker, who said that the 21st century is going to be all about knowledge workers, right? So it moved from a mechanized part into a knowledge worker kind of a mode. Now, from here onwards, it's going to move more into a wisdom kind of a mode, because that's the funnel that's there, right? Data on top, then information, then knowledge, and then wisdom. So we move from stage to stage. Human capacity to do certain things was only inhibited by time. Everybody says that time is money, right? And the capability of each individual was always to do much more than what they could, but they would necessarily and mandatorily get stuck in the rut of having to do certain things every day. Now with AI, just that part is taken care of, so your mind can focus on what it was always meant to do. So people are going to evolve even more, and it has not replacing anybody, but has given us more time to think better and to innovate more and to take the world further ahead. And that's what AI has done, not replaced the top of the pyramid, but given us leisure by replacing the bottom of our work, I believe. And hence the future workforce would be people who would interact that more on what is different or what more can I do. Right, there's another quote by Peter Drucker itself which said, life, and work is not about just doing the next thing right, but about doing the next right thing. Now, we were always focused on getting the next thing right, which is being more efficient. But now we can focus on doing the next right thing, which is being more effective. And effective individuals come through communication and conversations. So I think AI can only help so much as to screen people with publicly available data, such as their scores or their grades or their achievements or their certificates, and so on. However, I think every founder and every company needs to interact with more people and see if there is a card, if there is a vibe check that happens at each level of the hierarchy of each company, so that you can hire people who are willing to adapt, because the technology changing pace is ever increasing and you can't hire the right person. You can only hire the right person with the right attitude, who can adapt to these changes. So I think human interaction will not be replaced. Human intuition to understand individuals' ability to learn and adapt is what is going to prevail. And I think these are my 2 cents on this.
I think taking on what others said, at every stage, human intervention will be very important. But yes, I think I would like to probably look at this question from both the ends. One from somebody who is hiring and somebody who is looking for a job. One thing that I see is there are two parts to this answer. Number one, the future of the work, if I look at specifically in how startups and new age companies are being established, the future of work is hyper personalization. And what I mean by it is, if I am looking for a social media manager and I'm a fintech company, my filter would not only be कि तुमको social media experience होना चाहिए. My filter would also be that do you come from a finance background? So whatever industry, so roles will be more industry specific. But this is only one part of the equation. Because I'm living in Bangalore, this is the culture what I see. However, 99.9% of hiring is not happening in these startups. It's the big scale recruiters. For them, they will have their own set processes. And when you have processes at scale, for example, for TCS, Wipro, they all have got their entry level tests, especially in tech, where, and you know how easy it is to cheat in those tests. You can always ask your friend to appear in those tests for you. Unfortunately, it cannot be replaced, because wherever you're talking about a personal level analysis, given the tech that we have right now, I'm really not sure if it is possible to personalize it for everyone, given the volume they want to hire. So for them, the process would remain the same. Maybe a few things will change. Maybe AI would be able to analyze things better, but it will not. AI cannot take over things at scale. Wherever there is scalability, it cannot happen. With the current tech that we have, it can solve the problem in the future. Secondly, I think some of us just mentioned about being culture fit. So this is coming from an experience where I've hired several people in my journey, and I've realized that sometimes there is a conflict between hiring somebody who's the rightly skilled person, and then you meet somebody who does not have the kind of skills that you want, but he comes with that attitude, if I don't know, I'll figure it out. So I think that also depends on the kind of role that you're hiring for. Let's say if I want to get a good CTO in my team, I would probably want somebody who can take the team together. But if I need somebody who can just build a kick-ass product, maybe for me the maximum that person can go up to would be a VP engineering, or could be a project manager kind of person. But I can never have that, visualize that person being, bringing the team together, because that simply cannot happen. So just to, since most of the points have already been covered by all of us, uh, uh, just to summarize on what I said, the future of work is going to be hyper personalization based on the industry. Do you come from that specific industry? Forget you've got 10 years of experience as a social media manager. I need somebody who can do finance. Secondly, AI will make things easier in terms of shortlisting. That first level of filtering can happen very easily through AI. where it can analyze a lot of things. One problem these days with hiring is that there is something called an ATS, which analyzes your resume and gives you the CVs. One drawback with that is until that person has consciously put those right keywords, it won't come to you. So an added layer of AI which can analyze that CV. Let's say I forgot to put one important keyword which is important, but if AI can analyze that and see, okay, see, this person has that experience, he has just not said it in the way I wanted, then it can help us bringing the right kind of people forward. And third thing would be that hiring would human intervention will not be replaced, and hiring for a small level company, for a hiring for a managerial role, hiring for an executive role, all of these will require different level of assessment, but basic thing being the culture fit. Like, do you really vibe with what we are doing? I think that's the term that they use these days. So I think those are my 2 cents on this.
Mithil, do you want to pitch anything?
Um, I faced this problem a while back where I interviewed a candidate. I hired him as head of design for myself, for my company. That person had an exceptional skill set. He was from one of the top institutions. I won't name it, but that person, after working for a while, he like basically uska attitude nahi tha usme. He was siphoning off the company's funds, and he was siphoning off the company's data and selling it to our competitors. So on paper सब चीज सही लग रही है, but when we have to like determine whether that person is a ideal candidate, whether that person is a उसका attitude कितना हमारे उस पे inclined है towards our working, towards our goal, it poses a real challenge. And मैं वो काफी टाइम से वही देख रहा हूँ कि how we can overcome that challenge. मतलब यहाँ पे I guess वैशाख ने भी यही बात बोली थी कि you need to find a combination between that right attitude and skill set. And जैसे अभी हिमांशु ने बोला कि even though if a person is not 100% checking your आपका skill set वाला column, but अगर वो आपका attitude उसका सही है, so that person will figure out how he or she has to make things work. So
Yeah, just to add up on this, I mean, just to conclude this thing, I think attitude is obviously the main factor in wherever domains you go, like whichever things you like. Yeah, I remember yesterday I had a conversation with one of my friend in Bangalore, and she's building a SaaS company. So she just was telling me, I'm looking for a co-founder, and I'm not able to figure it out. Like every time I get someone, the perfect skill set, things get tick box, but end of the day, it's like, they can't find the perfect attitude wala person. So she was saying, yeah, like, it's very easy to find a partner nowadays, but it's very difficult to find a co-founder because it's very difficult. Like people nahi milta hai, matlab vibe match nahi ho raha. Like she said, like my colleagues are getting jobs like faster, but it's very difficult. Vibe match is something that's very important.
like it's not about just कि vibe match होना है नहीं होना. It's also
but the attitude also.
Yeah.
But you could also like
अगर
have to sorry to cut you off, but you actually need to I mean, my question is, you actually have to give that time to understand what really is with the person actually, and then figure out whether the vibe is matching or not, right? Like
मतलब you can't entirely go on the vibe.
Yeah.
If you are hiring for a co-founder and अगर तुम दोनों का एक single perspective है, you are looking at a problem from a single perspective, so you are overlooking the जो बाकी का it's another approach जिससे तुम solve कर सकते हो उस problem को. So I think you should have a different point of view. It's not just about the vibe, I would say.
I mean,
but
yeah,
एक
exactly
basic understanding होनी चाहिए तुम दोनों के बीच में.
Yeah, again, the same skill set will also be difficult. Like, if I'm thinking A, the person that's coming on board is also thinking like A, then there's no point on that. Like if I'm thinking one, like they should think of the other side. That's two.
Opposite polarity होनी चाहिए.
Exactly, polarity should be there. But again, both of should be on the same page when it comes to carrying forward the vision of the company. Like if one is thinking of building this and like other thinking of building a hardware product, there's no sense to it. Like vision, in terms of vision, everyone should be on the same page. Skill set and things can be figured out, but yeah, that's the point there.
Perfect. So just to conclude this question, we went from a referral system to more efficiency in AI, to more wisdom based and IQ based hiring, to more efficiency in AI, and we also spoke about the vibe. And I think I'll just give a very short example of what happened to me couple of weeks back, a couple of days back. So again, I'm looking for somebody who can head technology for Inovact, right? And Himanshu knows this, na? It's been going on from a long time. I've spoken to a lot of potential CTO kind of candidates, but the thing that they don't understand is they want to come here, they want to be the co-founder CTO, but what they don't understand is I am not able to build a bond with them through Google, through a Google Meet, through a phone call. So I keep telling them, yeah, you come to Bangalore, I'll give you equity, I'll give you whatever you want, I'll give you ESOPs. Because for me, I've already had trust issues because my co-founder left. So if I have to build a bond with you have to be here with me personally. I have to meet you. I have to, it's more than finding a partner for your life, right? You're sharing your baby with somebody else. So I think a lot of people know this, but they don't understand it. So I think that's something that people have to realize. If you want to if you want to start up with somebody, it's really important that you have a clear cut bond, clear cut vision, of course complementary skill set, but you have to be aligned with the vision and uh, all those things, right? So yeah, this was about the future of work and AI, and what we have realized is yes, AI can definitely help us, but AI cannot replace what we are doing, or AI will definitely need a human intervention. So that's what we have concluded. So the next question, it's even more interesting. This question is very deep, so you guys have to think two times before answering it. So what is essential for a startup, or probably what is essential for an entrepreneur? So let's, the floor is yours. Please feel free to unmute. What is essential for an entrepreneur or a startup?
So I'll take this inspiration from my favorite. Something that has inspired me in this last couple of years is Po from Kung Fu Panda, and he has been a source of inspiration for a lot of things that I do. Now there's something which Shifu says to him, and he says is that if you only do what you have been doing, you will never be more than what you are right now. What is essential for a startup is just that. I mean, this is the way I look at it. Is for me, startup is a playground. At the initial levels, it is a playground for you to find what works, and in order to find what works, probably you'll end up doing so many things that didn't work, and then you'll get to know what works. Now this does not mean go and blindly experimenting with things. Of course, you have to look at facts, figures, what's been happening around, get some data on it, do some analysis, but then yeah, there's give room to your gut feeling also, and experiment. And see, for me, sometimes I think I'm probably going back to the old question. It is somewhat related to that, but it probably sets the context up for this also. That now when I hire, because I've been a more business and marketing person, now when I hire in my team, I specifically look for content creators. Any role that I need, I want somebody who is a content creator. You could have been a musician, you could have been आप शायरी, you would आप अपनी शायरी upload कर रहे हो, you could have been writing poem. Essentially, I'm looking for somebody who understands the feedback loop. I do something, I get response. What is the kind of response? A, V. If it is A, then this is what I need to do. If it is B, then this is what I need to do. Now, thing with creators is you could be a small level creator. Maybe you only have 500 followers. But if you have been consistently into this process for 2-3 months, I think you're the best fit for my team. So, uh, right now, to sum it up, for me, what is essential for a startup is to be in that creative mindset of creating something, doing something. Working for a startup and working in TCS are two very different kind of things, and both have, there is immense respect for both, both kind of people. I mere bahut sare dost hai, a lot of my friends, they come from a very stable life. Probably they work 3 to 4 hours in the entire week, and they make somewhere around like about half a cr or cr. I mean, that's the kind of ridiculous packages they are on, but that's their choice, they are doing it. But for startup, it can't be like that. However, this could this could sound a little in contrast with with what a lot of people believe. I once had an opportunity to talk to Ashneer, and he said that, if as a founder you are working tirelessly throughout the day, then it's better you be an employee. If you can't solve a problem in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or x amount of time, then don't attempt. Then you're a good employee. You know how to hustle. Go and do that. But if you're a founder, if you're in the leading role of startups, if you're probably in a lead marketing, lead growth, lead technology, if these are the profiles that you're carrying, you should bloody know how to solve the problem. Even if you can't do it alone, you should know that I need these 10 people who will do this. So what is important for a startup is to constantly do what you have not done up until now, learn from it, get into that feedback loop. If the answer is A, I mean, if the situation is A, then you have a different set of problems to go ahead. If it is B, then it's different. So I think this is what is very important. I mean, I hope I've been clear in what I
Yeah, I
wanted
mean,
to say.
I think Himanshu, I think you actually meant that startups should actually have that grit, like the founders or anybody who's starting off, they should have that grit with open mindset. Like, okay, I'm going to learn something from something new, maybe get some suggestion or opinion from somebody. Be very elastic about it, but at the same time, have that grit, that sheer grit that no matter what, I'll just do I'll stick to what I want to do. So if that core philosophy is not there for a founder or anybody in the team in the early stage, or maybe in the future also for anybody, let's say you scale to like 50 employees or things like that, but still the grit should remain the same. I think that's what you meant. At
Yeah. And I think the basis to that is clarity. I mean, I have nothing against those founders who simply build for selling it. I'll build this company, I'll sell it and go. I have nothing against you. But if you have that level of clarity and execution, go ahead and do it. Simply don't jump into the well blindly. I mean, I believe in taking risks, but I really appreciate if it is calculated.
Actually,
Yeah,
adding upon the points which you both have said, right? See, hiring a good team, and if you can't do it, you hire a person who can do it well for you. But don't just try doing what you can't do. You have to solve the problem very quickly, and you have to have that resilience in the long term. Like अभी जैसे फंडिंग विंटर चल रहा है, so I'm not getting funding, so I'll stop this and I'll try some new idea. Having that grit and resilience is very important for a founder. At least you are responsible for something which you are building, and a team is dependent on you. You can't have something that you should have that resilience, and you should hire and have the right set of people around you to do your job easier and quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to take this up or bring in a new perspective? Others, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So you asked what is the two essential things for an entrepreneur, right?
What is the
So
most essential thing for a startup or an entrepreneur?
okay. So I think for an entrepreneur, like all of you said grit and all that, right? According to me, it's always been one is passion, and of course, everybody tells about passion. But I've mentioned this before in one of my interactions with you, Sarang, that I had a professor who defined passion in a different way in college, and the point he mentioned was passion. If anybody says it's like I'm passionate to become something, like I'm passionate to achieve this, right? You always talk about something on the top. It's your aspiration or it's your ideal state to be in, and that's what you define passion, the top point. But the professor told me it's actually the opposite of it. It's the bottommost point. That is the threshold or the breaking point until which you can take any challenges, any hardship, any trouble, anything that comes your way. What is the bottommost point that you can go till? And that is your passion, and that's the depth of passion. My depth of passion might be more, somebody's depth might be a little more shallow, so you can define the trough and the extent of what each individual's passion quotient, if I have to say, is. And it's your ability to withhold and pursue your idea, all factors considered. And some of those factors might include, say, how much you can depend on your parents for a while. And initially when I started, I had clearly set the expectation, right, that I'm an only son, and there's not too much responsibility. My father was he was a professor at JCE, and then he was about to retire in another 4 to 5 years, so I knew that I could risk things for 3 years. But had my family situation been different, my risk taking appetite would have been a little lesser, right? And after that, he said I had to do an MBA if I wanted to continue. And at that point of time, I checked my team, and today one of my teammates, she actually celebrating 7 years of being with the company. So she said, you go, you study, we'll take care of this. You don't pause it and come back later. you study, we will manage it. So that support that I got increased my passion level depth, right? So it's various things such as this. And then the partner you later happen to come across, or the relationships you get into, how is the other person, and what commitment you need to do on your personal life will again alter the depth of your passion. So each variable in your life as an entrepreneur will keep reevaluating this depth, and every entrepreneur should be very conscious of that passion quotient that's there, and at what point they break. And they are built to be more resilient, but there is a breaking point, and knowing that there is a breaking point is important, and always keeping that in the rear view and doing whatever you have to do. That is the point number one that I have. And the second one is always keeping your vision, rather your purpose, clear. The purpose, what I meant was, as Himanshu said, there are two types of entrepreneurs, right? Who are entrepreneur after a reason, and being the entrepreneur itself is the reason. So when I started, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Doesn't matter what idea, like sell vegetables or sell, clean toilets, whatever it is, I want to be an entrepreneur, right? But there are some people who are very passionate about solving, like, somebody here, you're building a, Creto, you're building a platform for interns. I don't know, for whatever reason, it might be in your DNA that I want to make this happen. And these are people who are after a cause, after a change, and they're driven by that particular objective, right? And knowing that at every critical point is important. And if you deviate from that, you won't be happy, and then you become an employee of your own company. You feel like it, and you don't feel entrepreneurial anymore. So knowing why is important, and knowing where to stop, and your breaking point is important. These are two things from my end.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just sorry to cut you up, Sarah. So I'll just
Sure,
add
sure,
on
bro.
others what said, like, like knowing the passion metrics or the passion limit, and also the vision we carry forward. That's very important. So I remember, like, it's month of May, the creator was having some bit challenging time. We were building the product and all some crazy things happening inside the company regarding the employees coming up, like the free interns joining and all. So it's a basic crazy time. I wouldn't say it's crazy, it's a little tough time for us, like we had some difficulty situation. So I just spoke to one of my colleagues. So he was building he's one of the building a startup in agri-tech domain, so where they have a market leader currently. So they are into food quality deduction and all. So it's very good startup. They raised a lot of money, and like they are the market leader now. So he was sharing me his story, so what exactly happened to him also. So he told me, like, he, before coming to the current startup, he was building built four startup before, and all the four startups screwed up like hell. Like he told me कि like मैंने तो इतना पैसे घुमाया घर का कि he even made his father's FD to break, to fund his startup. So like he took his family to debt situations. So he was like, like, but I didn't give up. Like, every time he was like, if things are coming tough, it's mean like that's the more test of your passion. Like it's how we build the founder muscle. That's how we exactly understand whether to go up, like what's the level or the audacity you should take up to do things. And that exactly is the matter, every founder should also have. And he also told me one statement, and that hit me like anything. Like, that's a very simple statement. He told, okay, like, it's not the dhanda, it's the banda that builds the dhanda. So that's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, bro. It's a very OG line you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like in Kung Fu Panda,
hmm,
okay.
huh,
Mr. Ping, that goose father, he says, there is no secret ingredient. You just
uh,
have to believe it to be special. So I think that's the
uh,
ingredient. If you have to
yeah,
believe you can do it and then figure it
yeah.
out.
So every time
And
I
I think
talk to,
entrepreneur should be the last persons to compare themselves with other entrepreneurs, like how we would do in
uh,
10th standard exams or 12th standard exams. We are not in this to there's no limit for excellence in this, right? It's
uh,
different entrepreneurs have different visions, and since I said, it's about what you want. You want to work one day a week and relax for the rest, and that's your entrepreneurial vision. Great. You want to be a unicorn. Great. You want to just build something that creates an impact in the society without much on the front line, but more on the emotional level of people and society and your intent. So be it, right? There's no one metric of measure for anybody's comparison sake. You should have benchmarks, but not really go after somebody saying, yeah, well, he worked for 10 hours, I'm going to work 11 hours tomorrow. That entrepreneur said he skips lunch 3 days a week. I'm going to skip lunch 4 days a week. You know.
True, very true. And I think Adarsh ended with the why, right? I think that's what even I believe. Whenever I'm low, what I think about is why did I start this? And that itself is enough for me to boost my confidence. And be it entrepreneurship, be it a career, be it a job, I think it's very important for everyone to figure out the why instead of figuring out what and how. Because I've seen a lot of people just taking MBA courses only for the sake of doing it, right? You don't even know why you want to do it, right? You don't know, you don't even know what you are going to become after doing it, right? So I think even for entrepreneurs, the why of starting is really important because that gives you a lot of clarity for the startup and even for you as an entrepreneur. And one thing that I really think is essential for startups is survival, because I also believe that there's a statement which says the essence of entrepreneurship lies in bootstrapping, right? Ultimately, you're building a business here, and this business can be built with funding and without funding. And the essence is where the essence comes when you build it without funding, right? That proves that you are a great entrepreneur, that you can sell things. That again, startups are not about investments, right? Startups are about businesses. We are a small business, correct? And mostly when I even speak with aspiring entrepreneurs, they're always be running behind investments, funding. And to be honest, even I was doing it, but few days back I realized that, yeah, investments are just a tool to your journey. Investment is not the journey at all. So I think two things: survival, and you have to know surviving. You have to know that, again, you have to know only the startup world and the startup market is something like survival of the fittest, right? You should understand that you have to survive. You're in this game forever. And being an entrepreneur, you go and do a job, right? You just can't have two mindsets, right? You can't start up, build a product, leave the startup or shut down a startup, go be an employee. And I think entrepreneurship is like, it's once you're an entrepreneur, you die an entrepreneur. That's what I believe. And if you want to die as an entrepreneur, it is very very important for you to survive in the market. And for you to survive in the market, you should know why you started. So I think it's more like a loop that I have realized. So uh, this is my 2 cents about what is essential for an
Sorry, and
entrepreneur or a
if
startup.
I may add just one other point
Sure.
to that, we should also not go look at the survivorship bias, get into it, right? Because somebody dropped out of college, they did it, so I can also do it. Somebody said they do this, and even I should do this. That negates the efforts. And second, might have worked in other. I don't know about everybody else here, but for me, taking your family and giving them the peace of mind. See, you might be chaotic, you might like the chaos and be in a controlled chaos, but your family might be sitting bricks every day. They're like, why is my son doing this, why is my daughter doing this? They might have sleepless nights, they might have lost their appetite because of what you're doing, right? So it's not your difficulty alone in India per se, or that you should also look at people who are near and dear and how you're taking, because only if you have a mental wellness and a clean mind, you can do great things. So we can't live with the guilt of stressing out our parents by being all crazy and saying, okay, well, I'm going to go out, stay in another house. It's not that kind of a culture yet in India where you do that, right? So we are biased by many movies that happen. So here, no matter what stress I go through, if I have the buy-in of my parents, if I have the buy-in of people who I'm with, and they're all fine, and as long as I'm in that controlled chaos sort of an environment, all of us can take the risk together. It's never one person, an entrepreneur. Those days are not there anymore. It might be crazy inventors, like scientists, who might be able to pull off because they need that kind of a chaotic space, or rather the world is too soothing for them, their chaotic thoughts. But for us entrepreneurs, taking people along is important, and not just think about our ability to handle the chaos.
Exactly,
But
but
यहाँ पे
clarity of thought, clarity of thought for an entrepreneur is
Yeah.
essential, right? Like you said, the quotient of risk for every particular entrepreneur is different.
Yeah.
It might work for one. Every case is different for every different startup, right? You can't compare. You can't base.
No.
Even you can have benchmarks, but the thing
Yeah.
is, it might work for them because their case is different.
Correct.
It might not work for you, so you can't base or have an example set just because it worked for them, it won't work for
Yeah.
you. Like Vaishak was saying, right? His friend, he built four startups, failed miserably, but the fifth one was a unicorn or the market leader right now. But if I, at my risk question, if I build four and I failed, if the fifth one fails, it might be different, or the
Yeah.
third might be a hit for me. It depends on how much clarity of thought you have as an entrepreneur, and when are you pivoting from whatever you are doing is very essential for you.
Correct. And just one thing that I don't agree on what Sarang said is, you become an entrepreneur, you die an entrepreneur, not necessarily. It is just another vocation, right? You get it out of the way. It's like paragliding, right? I go till the edge. I don't want to jump. I come back. Great. That's fine. The thing is, that you didn't do it or you don't want to do it. Bungee jumping, you go till the edge, get everything done, then you feel like you don't want to jump. Totally fine. Come back, right?
Correct.
So it's all right to not be an entrepreneur at a point of time, as long as you know when you have given your best, or rather when you won't regret it. That's enough. I've tried, I'm done. Now it's time for
Correct.
me to move on, because my life is not just me. It's about the many people and things around me, where entrepreneurship contributes to X percentage, and there's other things as well.
Correct. Agreed. No, I was speaking more with the mindset thing. So as an entrepreneur, your mindset is completely different to people around you, your peers, right? So I was stressing on that mindset never, kind of dies. It dies with you. So
Right.
that was what I was actually trying to
Got it.
convey. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Chandrakant is coming and going. Probably he has to take a flight at 7:30. So maybe we still have Mitul, Lakshay. Again, you guys want to pitch in something? Anything else
जैसे
about
आदर्श
this?
कह रहा था या कि entrepreneurship is about the controlled chaos. You are deliberately putting yourself on the edge to have that thrill, to have that thing going on. कि एक चीज work नहीं करी, you'll go to a different thing. वो चीज work नहीं करी, you go to a different thing. You try different approaches. But जैसे कहा कि कभी कभार पेरेंट्स ऑन बोर्ड नहीं होते, या फिर कभी कभार द पीपल अराउंड यू दे आर नॉट ऑन बोर्डेड विद योर विजन. सो आई गेस यू हैव टू बी सेल्फिश देयर. मतलब अगर तुम एक वो सामने गोल देख पा रहे हो, सो यू कांट बी टेकिंग इनटू अकाउंट कि तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स को क्या लगेगा, तुम्हारे उसको क्या लगेगा. क्योंकि यार पेरेंट्स को मैंने अपने पर्सनल केस में ये देखा कि जो पेरेंट्स की एडवाइस देते थे या फिर जो भी देते थे, दे आर गिविंग इट फ्रॉम अ पर्सपेक्टिव दैट थिंग्स दैट वर्क 20 years ago from now. मतलब जो उनके टाइम में 20 साल पहले काम कर रहा है चीजों का, those things don't work now. The world has changed. It's dynamic. It's changing on a second by second basis. It's not कि अब इंटरनेट आ चुका है, उनके टाइम में वो चीजें नहीं थी. So I think अब जैसे you told about कि if you have to move out, they are not on board with that um, thing कि अगर if you have to move out of your house. But अगर तुम एक वो goal देख पा रहे हो, so you have to take that risk. You have to be
Yeah.
selfish there, because that is something that only you can believe in, not them, not
I
any
agree.
other
I
human.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're not done, I think one point there is, how about like visualizing this, right? Seeing your, not necessarily parents, anybody, right? It might be your girlfriend, or it might be whoever, your brother or your sister, whoever. Think of them as your first investors. They are not investing money in you; they are investing their trust
They're
in you.
investing in kind. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, they're investing. So you pitch it to them so that they understand what you're doing. And every new venture that I've done since like 2015, I finished my engineering. In the afternoon, that very next day, I started my startup days here. Right, my dad was a professor in the same college. I had two campus offers, and I knew the pressure I had in joining, taking up a job. But my father is my first investor. Investor is what? Money to register my company and trust for me to run with it for a couple of years. What is my idea? Nothing. I'm convincing him. It might take me 10 days to tell him what the idea is, give him whatever example, and then convince your mom. Let them be your first investors of trust. If you convince them to let you do things, then there is next steps, right? But I'm saying, that's up to you, right? It depends on each individual, on how their core is built, and that's what the valley of passion that I mentioned, right? On what is each individual's emotional quotient and appetite. As long as your mind is free to think clearly, taking any decision is fine. But in my opinion, in my world, it depends on all of those factors. Because if I'm thinking, okay, my mom won't sleep today because she's thinking of this, then I won't be able to do that extra mile that I have to go. I need to be all right. I have my first investors on board, that I have the trust. Then I have my investment on board, that I'm not going to care what my friends earn or what my friends grow in life. I'm not going to care when my friends get married or when they buy a car or when they get a house. But I will care when I touch 35. That is in, if it is in my mind. And at 35, I'm going to think about making a necessary change in my life, which will make me want to feel good with myself. I'm still an entrepreneur then, but my risk, my chaos will reduce. Maybe, I don't know. As of today, that is what my mind tells me. But knowing that is important. Knowing for myself on how is my mind going to work out and I don't burn out, and knowing the why. Because to sum it up in one statement, right? Entrepreneurship is for anybody, but not for everybody.
Yes. But I guess you have to detach yourself from those outcomes. कि वो क्या सोचेगा मेरे बारे में, उनको कैसा लगेगा. If you are in the right headspace, अगर आपका goal clear है, so just go ahead, take that
Yeah.
risk. वो वाली चीज़ है.
And I think
But
it's
I must
personal
ask.
for everyone, right?
I think he's mentioning what Adarsh is trying to say is how far can you go? Like as an individual,
Yeah.
how far can you go?
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't like he means like okay, you can go that far, which you're talking in terms of going far is being selfish, not giving a damn about what I need to be concerningly thinking about. But it's different for everybody here, right? Like
It's
Yeah.
different for
how far
everyone.
can
So,
I
so
go?
that's very individual. Like if you have seen Shark Tanks, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm very inspired by Ashneer for whatever reasons. I think I have my bias towards that guy, but if you look at him, he's very clear about what he
Yeah.
wants. No bullshit. He'll tell you this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for. So this is type one of an entrepreneur who knows exactly what he wants, and he'll not shy away in saying what he wants, and he'll not shy away in doing anything. But then on the other hand, you find other people
Yeah.
for whom, if you have the support of friends, I mean, I think both Adarsh and Mithul are making very valid points, but it's an individual journey. Like for
Yeah.
me, after class 10th, I don't think my parents have ever made any decision for me. My relationship with them is I tell them this is what I'm doing, and they probably, I don't even ask if you are in or not. But this is my equation with them. This is my
Yeah.
equation with them. But for somebody, if you feel if you do not bring them into this equation, then it's best you solve that first so that you have enough
Exactly.
time
Yeah.
to look at what you want.
Very valid. Variables are
Cool.
different.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have another 1 minute probably. So if anyone wants to quickly bring up a point and finish, we can go ahead with that.
Uh,
Chandrakant, could you please switch? Yeah, anyone wants to go ahead?
Yeah, basically, I had just one point to make. I mean, it's a recent learning that I had. I just want to share and want to know more about what you guys think about it. So, Reid Hoffman, in his one of his like it's podcast, Masters of Scale, he says is that leveraging mistakes for an entrepreneur is very important. So that if he leverages on making mistakes, so he can scale at a very fast pace. So,
Yeah.
what's your take on that? Because I really think that you make the mistake today, like let's say now, and then it's the faster you learn, so the learning curve is even fast. So that's what I basically think. So what do you guys think about it? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fail
I
fast to
agree.
succeed sooner.
Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree to this,
Sorry to
Akshay.
cut you. We have another 50 seconds. So what I'll have to do
Okay.
is we'll take up Akshay's question after the end of the broadcast, and we'll also try to
Sure.
put it up as a post so that even our
Yeah.
viewers can see what the answer was. So first of all, there were a lot of viewers. So thank you viewers for coming here, supporting us with your viewership and showering so much love and support to me and Inovact. And thank you guys for sparing 1 hour of your precious time on a Sunday evening. And also, I know that this kind of made it productive. But again, thank you so much for coming. So I'll be ending the live now. In any quick words.
No, wishing to
So,
see more entrepreneurs succeed and more people
Yeah.
wanting to be entrepreneurs. And all the best, guys.
wishing everybody in this room all the best.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Same.
All the
Good luck,
Perfect.
guys.
All
Good
the
luck.
best. All the
And thank
best.
you, Sarang.
I am
Yeah,
Thank you
ending
thank
so
the
much, Sarang.
broadcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm ending the broadcast, but we can continue the conversation probably after I end
Sure.
this. Okay.
Hmm.
Sure, sure. Yeah, guys. Yeah, thank you.